And if a person has no intuition functioning and they're very highly polarized, they have bipolar condition and they've lost self-governance, no more intuition to guide them. Hi everyone, this is Dr. Demartini. Throughout my years of teaching, I am very commonly confronted by people who say, well, my intuition said to do this, or I had a gut instinct about this. And sometimes they confuse the two, and they use them interchangeably. And I see that people that are more kind of metaphysical and for creative types, they like to say, well, my instinct said I don't trust that person or whatever. I'd like to clarify the best I can the distinction between intuition, instinct, impulse, inspiration. So you might want to get a piece of paper out and take some of this down just in case. I want you to imagine that an impulse towards something is something you're seeking. So I want you to write down impulse, toward, seek. In animal behavior, anything that represents prey, that is food to an animal, they have an impulse to attract and run toward, to get, to eat. So impulse is an attraction towards something that you perceive supports your values, which is symbolic as a prey to an animal. And we have that same part of our brain that does impulses behavior. Somebody who's impulsive is thinking they're going to get a benefit really quick, a pleasure somehow. So anything that's pleasureful, anything that stimulates dopamine, anything that's serotonin, anything that's enkephalons, anything that's pleasure, anything that's trusting and bonding and that you seek, creates an impulsive behavior. It's an animal behavior that all animals have pretty well, all vertebrates at least, that they seek. Instinct is its opposite. Instinct is to protect you from a predator. So it's avoid and withdraw. So when you have a gut instinct, that means you're having a sense for something that is challenging your values, that could be frightening, that could be negative, that you'd want to avoid. That's an instinct that you have because of previous experience. There's something in the environment that's reminding you of something that previous experience was associated with pain. So a gut instinct protects you from predators, protects you from things that challenge your values. It's an avoiding mechanism. The impulse is based on things that you think that supported your values, and it's seeking towards the prey. So you're trying to avoid with instinct your predator. You're trying to seek with your prey with your impulses. Impulses and instincts are based on associations. They're stored from previous experiences, and they're there to protect us from things that we think are frightening and seek things that are essential. So that is the most primitive part of the brain. All organisms have that pretty well, particularly the mammals, the vertebrates, and we're basically living by trial and error. So every time we avoid something and seek something based on associations, if we go after it and it tastes good, we learned what works. If it goes away, if we avoid something and we survive, then we learn that works. But if we avoid something and then we realize there were consequences, we refine our instinct. So our instinct and impulses are constantly being remodeled based on our experiences through trial and error. That is the most primitive, most inefficient system. In computer language, it's called telenomics. Telenomics is a goal orientation from feedback from the past. Then there's another part, a higher level of the brain, which is involved in foresight. This one is not down in the amygdala where impulse and instinct is. This is in the forebrain. And the forebrain is involved in foresight, where you see a vision, you see a plan to get it, you execute the plan, you work towards it, and you foresee things in the future and think of the consequences and think, if this was to happen, this is what I would do. If this was to happen, this is what I do. And you put strategies in place. So whether it is supportive or challenging, it doesn't matter. You find a way of using both of them to get what you want. This is a more advanced part of the brain. Now, the difference between instinct and intuition now is intuition is trying to take things that were painful or pleasurable and balance them. Intuition, let's say if you're infatuated with something that you're drawn to with an impulse, your intuition is trying to say, watch out, there's a downside to this person. Don't be fooled. We've all been infatuated with somebody before, most likely, and we found out a week, a month, a year later that that person that we were infatuated with actually had downsides that we didn't see. We were blind to it initially. Our intuition is always trying to reveal to us the part of us that's unconscious, that's the downside to the things we're impulsive to. So intuition is actually mediating or moderating, or mitigating the impulse. It's trying to calm down the impulse of the animal. At the same time, if you have something that's frightening to you and you're resentful to somebody, over time you would have a tendency to find the blessings to it. And you also have a part of you that wants to find meaning of why that happened. Well, that's your intuition. Your intuition is trying to find the upsides to the thing you're resenting. So anything you have an instinct about, your intuition is trying to show you the upsides to moderate it. It's what the intuition does is moderates the impulses and instincts. That's why when people say that, well, it's my intuition or it's my instinct, they use them interchangeably, they're actually not the same. They're counterbalancing to each other. The instinct is trying to avoid a pain, where the intuition is trying to moderate your perception of the pain and show you the upsides. And your impulse is trying to get to the pleasure, and the intuition is trying to show you the downsides of it, to moderate it. So intuition is trying to moderate the overdoing and underdoing of the instincts and impulses. The animal, it's trying to govern the animal. The higher sixth sense of the human being has the capacity to override the animal's impulses and instincts. It's trying to moderate it, to bring it back into a balance where you have objectivity. Objectivity means even-mindedness. So the moment intuition brings those impulses and instincts back into balance, you're inspired. Inspiration is when you have a perfectly balanced mind, when you have gratitude, your heart opens, you feel love and inspired, and you see an inspired vision, you see the strategy that's balanced, you execute the plan, and you have self-governance because you're not impulses and instincting running you. So intuition and instinct are not the same, in case you've been using those as synonymous. Your instinct is avoiding pain, withdrawing from pain, and your intuition is trying to moderate that and neutralize the pain. If you listen to your sixth sense, your intuition, and bring yourself into balance, you'll bypass the subjective bias of avoiding and seeking, and you get present and poised and empowered by taking actions with foresight. And you'll be more inspired. So the sixth sense leads you to an inspired outcome. But these primitive senses, instincts and impulses, are there to protect you in emergencies of something truly is going to challenge your values or something that's the other side. And if a person has no intuition functioning and they're very highly polarized, they have bipolar condition and they've lost self-governance, no more intuition to guide them. And they go into extreme states, they might go even further into dissociative states or schizoid states where they've literally lost reality. They're basically living in phobias and they think that things are trying to hurt them, or they're living in fantasy worlds because they've gone too far in impulse. There's a complete split and there's no governance in that. So every time you do the Demartini method and do columns 6 and 13 particularly, or really any of the columns, you're training your intuition, leading you to inspiration, and you're transcending the impulses and instincts of the animal within you. So I just want to make some of those distinctions in case you had been using those interchangeably, and know that your sixth sense is guiding you to do something inspiring with your life. So there's times to listen to your impulses and instincts. If a car is coming out at you, that part of the brain is going to come into activity to get you out of that way of that car. And if all of a sudden you see something that is impulsive, well, that can backfire on you, but you may be needing it at different moments in your life to save a child possibly. But at the same time, 90% of your life, you need to be able to transcend those impulses and instincts with your sixth sense and bring governance to your life. Thank you for joining me for this presentation today. If you found value out of the presentation, please go below and please share your comments. We certainly appreciate that feedback. And be sure to subscribe and hit the notification icons. That way I can bring more content to you and share more to help you maximize your life. I look forward to our next presentation. Thank you so much for joining.